2017 Honda Civic Hatchback. We've got basically 19 fasteners that we're going to undo, but before I begin, let's talk about tools. You're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm using this ratcheting screwdriver as with a Phillips head tip on it, along with a ratchet with a 1/4 inch socket. I'm using a Torx 30 head on a socket screw and a 10mm ratchet handle, and some pry tools. You can use a regular screwdriver in lieu of this. You just need to be careful and not slide and scratch the parts. What I've done is I've taken the liberty of removing the screws for these fasteners just to push things along and get proficient. I'm not adept in the ways of removing trim. This is my first time to remove a bumper. So I'm using a plastic screwdriver type to pop the end. It comes off. Now I'm saving one. This is a different kind of connector. It's flat and it's very hard to get under here. So I thought I'd save the toughest for the last. What I've done is I've tried to get my fingernail underneath the lip of it, which is really, really hard to do. So what I ended up doing was I have a plastic knife blade, and I'm trying to get it into the edge. This is the toughest one. So once you get it under, you can stick your fingernail underneath, get your trim removal tool or a screwdriver, and pop it off. One thing I will caution you about doing is keeping your finger on the fastener. I've had two fly off, one in the engine compartment and one over here in the fender area, so I'm missing those. We have another type of connector here. What I like doing is using the equivalent of a screwdriver, giving me enough room. We have three types of fasteners. Little flat ones here by the headlight are prone to flying away, so be sure and keep your hand over the connector. And once you remove the trim fasteners, this just merely lifts off, and you can put this aside, and you have a rubber strip that comes off as well. I'm going to put it in the interior of my car. Okay, what you're going to need either is a 4mm Allen head or a 30mm Torx wrench and a 10mm socket. 10mm, there are two 10mm bolts on this car. First one is here, and there's another bolt on the opposite end. I went ahead and put a towel underneath the bumper because you are going to actually need a towel to set the bumper on once you remove it. I'm going to leave it on there just to, I don't know if this is going to flop and get in my way, but just to keep it in place for the trim. The 4mm and Allen head, the 4mm Allen head or T30 Torx head is right here, just past the fog light. You can't miss it. Go ahead and remove it. I'll set it to the side. Okay, now we're going to start popping fasteners, and I'll give you a count after I've popped them all off. This is the wrong tool. This one has these plastic screwdriver tip attachment, so I like using it. So let me get this first one here. It is this type, two-piece clips. Now these other ones I've loosened just for the sake of time. Switch sides. Over and over my 25mm. There it is. My T30. loosened all of these fasteners. Excuse me, just to make things go faster. Last 10mm bolt is at the end. This whole lower bumper should be loose. Appears to be so. Okay, you've got to take off 2 Phillips head screws on each side of the fender. So I'm just using a quarter-inch socket with a number 2 Phillips head tip to speed things along. And this one has already been loosened, but I left it in there just and you're going to repeat the same on the other side. Okay, the only thing that one needs to do to loosen all the connections to final step would be to, there's a tab here, I'm zoomed in. What you're going to do is you're going to stick a flathead screwdriver in there, and you just heard it release, I believe. I believe that's loose. Just making sure. We're going to go to this other side. And verify. Yeah, just push down, and yeah, you can see that this is the tab. You just push down on the tab right here. It's right before the head of the screw, and that will release this front section. And you'll do, let me zoom out. At the square holes here and here, at the triangular and square hole. I'm going to go ahead and rotate over. Here and here. Okay, the next step is you're going to insert, I'm using this plastic screwdriver type of attachment into here, right behind the bulb. What you want to do is pry down, and you'll see a tab that you want to release. It's actually right there, the first tab. go. And you're carefully just gonna lift one of the fasteners down. I forgot to remove the last 10mm bolt at the bottom, so that's why we kind of had the results that we had. I was able to figure that out once. So the left side is loosened. I'm going to go over here to the right side. I'm going to go ahead and move this 10mm bolt and this ratchet. I've already popped loose this side just to save time. As you can see, the vinyl wrap I have in place, I've already taken the liberty of loosening that up. Make sure I got the 10mm off the bottom. Yep. And you're just gonna, I've got some wrap here. It's giving me some resistance. Okay, I've loosened the film around the headlight. I'm just hesitant to pull. I'm going to the other side and looking to see how all right. You can actually go in and I'll show you how to do it manually without yanking on the bumper. You need to be careful and remove your fog lights first. Okay, to remove the fog lights, you're going to go to the back where the wire connection is and push where the 3 ridges are at the end of the tab, and it'll pop right out. Take the bumper and move it up on your towel some, and you've just removed the bumper from your Honda Civic. Let's take a look at some of these points. The way that you can manually release these tabs, just stick a your tool or a Phillips head screwdriver, but I use my plastic Phillips head, and you just lift these tabs, and that will release the bumper instead of forcibly pulling it off. So now I'm going to get back to wrapping my bumper.